We'll call the budget hearing for June the 2nd for this year to order. And if you all please stand to give pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Recommendation on the agenda, sir.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the agenda.
I need a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I make that motion.
Need a second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. The budget hearing. You have the floor.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It's hard to believe it's that time. We're very excited for next year, and I think this is a budget that everybody's going to be pleased with. Today it's our budget hearing, June 2nd, 2022, 2 o'clock, and if all goes well, no changes. The budget will be adopted on June 16th at 10 a.m. for the public. And I always like to start out with a couple of quotes. And this year, it's normally about money, but this year I want to talk a little bit differently because I want to say something about this is the largest budget that DeSoto schools has ever had. Now, I think that even includes when we had the GEO bonds, but at least operating wise, it's the largest budget that we've ever had. So I think these two quotes really embody the how we go about creating this budget. Management is efficiency in climbing the ladder of success. Leadership determines whether the ladder is leading against the right wall. Coming together is a beginning, staying together is progress, and working together is success. Even though this is the largest budget, I will say it is, and this is not an easy budget to put together. It's never an easy budget, but I will say it's probably been the easiest because Mr. Russellton is one of the most conservative and consistent leaders that I have ever had. And he is very effective at communicating that to all directors, all assistant superintendents, everyone, when they are doing their part. I cannot tell you how many hands are going to make this budget. There are a lot of hands that go into this budget, but everybody has the same goal. And I do believe this is probably one of the first budgets I've had where we really did not have to make any cuts of any significance. So everyone did their job to do what was reasonable, what was necessary, and what's best for DeSoto schools. So I do want to say that before I start. Just to be clear, DeSoto County Schools is not raising the millage. Our millage is identical in every respect from last year to this year to next year. We will still be at 49.85 mills on this year. The GEO bond, we have none, and 3 mill notes, we have 3 mills. Our total budget revenue is $417,132,433. Last year, we were at $377,679,635, and you can see here the progression through the years 2021 and our local revenues this next year are going to be at $123,490,248. Our state will be at $205,017,145, and federal at $88,625,040. And I have the percentages this year. 29.6 is our local and the total revenue. State is at 49.1 and federal is at 21.2. Typically, our federal is around 10 to 12%, but we still have quite a few ESSER funds that are residual funds that will be spent this year. So it kind of skewed the numbers again. Probably be back to normal about next year. So this is just a graphic representation, and it just shows that state is by decade the largest, but again, at one point we were about 65% state, 70% state. We're at about 49.1, and then the district, the local ones are not far behind. Our local revenues are Avalon. It remained at 86% of all local revenues this year, the same as last year. Operations based on the numbers from DeSoto County at this point. Now we will get an updated value of the mill closer to their year end, which is going to be around August when we normally bring you back a resolution. It will be updated. The operations ad valorem is $100,623,849. Renewal notes are at $6,182,560, and I just want to keep the zero due lines in there because I'm very proud of the fact that we've paid off all of our due lines. So there are no millage for that. Other local revenues, the 14% is pretty much donations and contributions. We have quite a bit of revenue in lieu of taxes, interest income, student activities and fees, and our paid breakfast and lunch. Our state revenues, MAP this year, we're at $181,119,369. That is 88% of all state funds. That is an $11,682,752 increase over FY22. We were again funded, we're actually funded slightly higher this year at 89.5%, plus a teacher or teacher assistant pay raise. Our other major state resources, our homestead exemption is at $1,850,000. Chickasaw funds went down slightly this year, and that's based on 16 section leases and forestry, so it varies from year to year. So this next year it's going to be $5,515,27. Our educational enhancement funds, that is not the EEF parts, that's actually for buildings and buses that we've already pledged to debt service, is $1,060,532. We do not ever have our real allocation. We'll have a new one a little bit later. Our master teacher estimated this year is at $1.5 million. Our federal revenues, they're pretty much the same as last year. Our FDOT money, which is every student's exact, our Titles 1, Title 2, Title 3, and Title 4. Special education, again, that's the same. Our EHA, Part B, and our preschool. And child nutrition. Our ROTC programs, that all three of those are funded now. I think that happened about 1 or 2 years ago, where all programs are now officially, where we do get federal reimbursement. And we will have the remnants of ESSER 2 and ESSER 3 funds, some is planned specifically for this year and for next year. And then some of the construction projects, as we start them, some are completed and some are short. MAP shortfall analysis, this is just a slide that ever since we've had MAP, I've chosen to use. Our shortfall for this year, if DeSoto County Schools have been fully funded, we would have received an additional $22,238,956. Since the inception of MAP, we have been underfunded by $271,244,244. Total budget expenditures to FY23. This is when I talk about the largest budget we've ever had. This is when we talk about how large our budget is. This year is at $446,918,670 compared to last year at FY22 we were at $426,335,998. And I will tell you, the majority of that is going to be your very well-deserved teacher and teacher assistant pay raise. So that's going to make up a big. That is a large pay raise. I don't know if it's the history of something. Our expenditure analysis, our general funds, which are really our district funds, special education, and our student activity funds. This year, we're going to be at $302,833,698 compared to last year at $273,487,308. And again, that is where all your teacher pay raise and teacher assistant pay raise, along with some other things that Ms. Rustin and I are going to be discussing with you a little bit later. Our special revenue funds, that is going to be mostly your federal funds. $100,178,241 next year as compared to last year. We were at $94,802,785, but a $5 million increase. Capital projects are going to be at $34,068,904 compared to last year at $42,503,436. We have completed quite a few projects, so that's going to be lower. Debt service, I'm very proud of this one. $9,837,827 is our debt service for this next year compared to last year at $15,542,470. It was $5,704,643 that we were saving. Again, we will be issuing that new COP later on in the year, the final amount for the new Hernando High School. So that will change. But I'm very proud of it. Facts about DeSoto County Schools that the public may not know. I know the board is very well aware. DeSoto County Schools employs over 4,500 employees. We are the largest employer in DeSoto County. We educate over 34,400 students a year. We have over 5 million square feet of facility maintained at a value of at least $875 million. That changes every year. We transport over 19,000 students a day. We have routes. We travel over 2 million miles. We have over 800 scheduled routes. And we serve over 24,500 meals a day. I think that actually went up this last year with our everyone eating free. We do go back to a different situation this year, but Slogan schools definitely that's a large. Our main drivers are accreditation standards. There are things that we can and cannot do, or things that we must do, and so we need those first. Our legislative mandates, our ESSA regulations, our Every Student Succeeds Act, and our ESSER regulations, which are a little bit different. We still are under ESSER, so we must follow those regulations. Special education, we have individual education plans for students, and we must supply those. Facility and safety needs, that's going to be a hot topic, and Mr. Usleton is going to expand on that a little bit more. Our distance learning, that's still very important. Transportation needs, that every day. Major factors, our teacher-pupil ratio is something we must maintain. We have a required number of support staff. Our state salary schedule, setting experience, that was a large factor this year with teacher and teacher assistant payments. And our classroom needs over and above what state requires and any other health agency recommendations. Our expenditure of our category support services, we're at $75,094,360. Support services are those that are you're going to be your nurses, your guidance, summer school support services, your nurses, your guidance counselors, things like that. That's also the business office, HR, things like that. Our instruction that is directly in the classroom, we're at $200,460,543. Our operations and maintenance, that's our plant maintenance, is at $44,809,512. Our operation non-instructional, that is our child nutrition. Is $20,099,470. Construction for this year is planned at $42,860,090. Transportation, we're at $16,136,000. Debt service, again, we're at $9,837,827. And I really like the graph so we can always show that the main thing is the main thing. Purple is obviously construction. So that is our focus in every single lecture. So new things that we're going to have this year, because instead of school, we can operate on where we were last year, plus anything that we are adding. We're adding 27 special education teachers this year, 9 regular education teachers, 3 speech pathologists, 3 ramp teachers, 2 gifted teachers, 1 English language learner teacher. We have 1 more dyslexia therapist this year, 9 regular education teachers. 1 lead mentor teacher, that's new that we're adding in elementary. And we're also adding a lead mentor teacher in our secondary area. So, educational investments, one of the largest ones, a $5,600 average teacher pay raise. So the average, the state average, if you look at the teacher scale, every year is different. But the average, according to the state, is $5,100. And the district did an additional $600, and that makes our beginning supplement $5,000. So we're very proud of that. There was $2,000 for the state teacher assistant pay raise. We added APP testing and pre-testing in several grades. We actually started some of that this year, but we're expanding on next year. New instructional support programs for curriculum. We are adding the Generation Genius Science program, our magnetic reading program, our Reading Ready program, and a grad track program. Our ESSER 2 and ESSER 3 education investments for this year. We are continuing with learning loss assistance, part-time learning loss teachers. We will have summer school through ESSER. The $18 per child technology will also be going through ESSER. Middle school phonics program is a new phonics program we were able to provide through ESSER, and additional devices for teachers and students. So our total ESSER 2 and ESSER 3 allocations this year are $31,919,457 just for the education part. We do have some more that's to building and maintenance, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Our additional district educational investments are $21,332,058. And if that's not large enough in itself, our additional ESSER educational investments are at $31,919,457. So there are a lot more additional funds that are going directly into the classroom or to support the classroom. Safety and security investments are increasing our budget for school resource officers to $2 million, and an additional $1 million for safety program and upgrades. And our capital projects, we still have certificates of participation that these projects are still, some have begun, most of them have not been started yet, so they will be going strong this year. South Haven Intermediate Classroom Additions, Center Hill High Classroom Additions, Center Hill Elementary Classroom Additions, Lake Former Middle Classroom Additions, an NJROTC building at Lake Former High School, Walls Elementary Roof Replacement, Olive Branch Middle, South Haven Intermediate, and Center Hill Elementary Roof Replacement. Our other pot money are ESSER 2 and ESSER 3 projects for capital projects. HVAC replacements, $11,066,683. And we are continuing with our water bottle filling stations to replace our water fountains. Our district projects, it's $11,066,000 in HVAC replacements. We're adding $3 million in addition to ESSER for that. The water bill, $10 million to miscellaneous construction for school entrance projects and new Miranda High School. Just in case we need more COP to finish that out. Our district maintenance fund balance is GASB 54. We have the board policy that we have set that actually has, we must set our minimum balance fund balance the board is comfortable with in making sure that we have enough revenue left over in the end. So ours has been at 25%, which is very conservative, but in a district our size, it's very important to have a conservative policy. So our budget fund balance for FY22 is $102,173,132. If the board policy at 25%, that would mean we would need to be $76,448,86. So we are budgeted over and above that. Our fund balance is $25,732,246 over and above what the board would require. So we do have funds, we've had to use some rainy days. We've had some rainy days in the last couple of years. And so that is exactly why we have them. So we actually, our fund balance will be a 33% fund balance reserve, which is over above 25% that the board requires. So mission accomplished. This is one of our slides that every year when I get to that final figure, I was worried about what it's going to be. We are at 75% of all operating expenditures are directly related to instruction, and 77% of all general fund salaries and benefits are expended in the classroom. So everyone has got the main thing. And the reasons that we are here, which are some of my favorites, is I didn't see any of this until Jerry Gill sent me all the basis. But we have some absolutely fabulous things going on in DeSoto. Thrilled to have the graduation pictures this year. This is the last 7 years. Very, very proud of all of our schools.
And Ms. Justin.
Yeah, I'm gonna say my part, we'll wait and, I'll present mine to the superintendent's report at 3:00. But I want to start out by thanking you and your team for all your hard work. And as you said earlier, it's a team effort, between all the departments and also your team. Do you mind introducing your team members, your peers, or board? They may not want to get introduced.
So Stacy Hadley, and go back to Dr. Working Group, so she is not here today, but she is the family, my right-hand person. And then we have Tish Block, who is our head of purchasing, and she makes sure that everybody gets what they need. Karen Fowler, who is one of our new assistants in purchasing. We have Jennifer Hale that reads every single contract that goes up for y'all, bless her heart. And we have Tony Sewell and Vicki Barham that are both in purchasing. Then we have Anne-Marie Perkins, who put together all of your binders. She created the actual unit right there. So this was her first year to do that. So give her a big hand. Very kind of hands.
And this is a process that, basically begins when we get back from Christmas.
Pretty much.
Every year. As soon as we get back, we start talking about the budget and, then department meetings, various meetings, directors. And, so very proud of where it's headed. In our 3:00 meeting during the superintendent's report, I will, focus on 2 items in there, and that's the teacher pay raise and, school resources. So I'll talk about both of those, and I'll just save that for that time. And, so we can just tune in. I'll do that at, 3:00, and I'll give y'all those updates. But it'll just piggyback on what the spread is already.
Anybody have any questions?
I just want to say thank you for always, you often during your presentation say, this is the real reason, and making sure that we know that everything that we do is trying to put everything we can make into the classrooms and in our schools. So thank you for reminding everyone of that.
Seeing nothing else, and since you're going to hold your superintendent's report, I need a motion to adjourn until 3:00 when we have our regular meeting.
I make that motion.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Aye. We stand adjourned until 3:00 when we have our regular meeting today.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.